your corner, cut 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 your corner. Control, corner where we rise and grow. Twist and turn, let the passion flow. Control, corner, watch the future shine. Every scale a story, one of a kind.
What's up, everybody? Good evening. Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. We got Daniel DeLuca, veteran in the Conjuro game since 2009. He just got backstage. I felt so prepared, and I ended up down to the last minute, down to the wire. These awesome glasses broke, and I spent the last 20 minutes gluing them so that I have vision, which seems to be important. So thanks for joining us tonight. I know I spent a lot of time getting some publicity out there, so I hope I got a lot of people tuning in this evening to see us talk about legacy and what it means to build a community. So without further ado, let's get Dan up here. Fingers crossed the audio works, because, you know, every week is a little bit of a surprise coming from backstage. Here we go. Dan, how are you?
What's up, man? Audio working?
Yeah, I hear you just fine.
Perfect.
Mute the YouTube, and there we go. How are you? How's your weather up there? You're in the Northeast, right?
Yeah, the weather's been pretty brutal. We've had some of the coldest friggin' days I can remember. It's been bad. The other day it was like negative 10 with the wind chill. Yeah, wow. It's been steadily single digits, teens for highs. It's been awful.
We had some of that. It lasts about. I'm about 75 minutes west of Memphis, so we've had some of that for about a week at a time, a couple of times now. So right now it's nice. Today was a good. You probably don't want to hear it, about 60 degrees. So that probably just means we have something bad coming our way soon, like ice.
Yeah, we got. I think we've gotten about close to 30 inches of snow in the last 2 weeks.
Wow. I know that gets a lot of snow up there, but that's a substantial amount.
Another storm coming tomorrow night, I think. 6 more inches. So I think it's just going to be one of those freaking winters.
Yeah, we had 6 to 9 inches of snow, which for here is a lot.
It's a lot for you.
Yeah, because they don't even have really the infrastructure. They don't have the salt reserves and the trucks and stuff. They just don't have the budget for it now in a state level, because it doesn't happen that often. Ice is the worst issue here. We're always in that bubble where ice, takes out power for a good amount of time. So that's what we got to worry about here mainly. Well, good. So your power looks good behind you, though. For now, you got a nice looking room there. I always love that when we got Conjuro guests on, the room is so set up.
Thanks.
Nice behind you, man. Very uniform. Very, very nice. How long have you been set up in that room? I mean, how do you run it? Are you ambient? Do you use heat panels?
No, I have the room set up about, I don't know, usually 75-ish or so. But I have all individual heat panels and, Herp stats and everything's set up, individual, each of the tanks. Thought about maybe trying the ambient, but I haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah. If you have a room that it's isolated, 4 walls and a door, that you can it's
pretty much that family room I converted over.
Yeah. Family. We got snakes, man. We got stuff to do.
Kind of overtook it. So I still got the TV here. I don't use it that much.
Well, I'm in my living room too, so I get it. I get it. So everyone that's popping in the comments tonight, thanks for chiming in tonight. We're gonna hopefully get some good insight. Dana, you said you started in 2009? Is that right?
Yeah, I got my first one, and it was like late 08, 2009, and it was it was in Aru, the first one that I got, and second one. And I had that. I got the original Aru, then I got another Aru and a Miso all together, and there's just import stuff. And kind of just grew from there. It was more just a keeping thing. I had a lot of stuff though. I had those few chondros, and I had some corn snake. I had all kinds of, just a whole hodgepodge of different things. And then I kind of found my, niche, just centralized it later on down the road. I had a lot of life stuff going on too. And then when I really kind of got serious with the green trees. Yeah, I did about 3 years ago. I got back into reptiles about 11 years ago at this point. But I started like 92, and I had a room full of various. I mean, I had a little tiny bedroom, as a kid, high school, 14, 15 years old, and I probably had 20 something reptiles of all different types. And I
and I got out of it and got into aquariums, and I got into that commercially as a career for a decade as a reef keeper. And yeah, I learned the hard way. It's just so hard when you have green iguanas. You got vegetarians, and you got to watch crickets for this and mealworms for that, and
Yeah.
just spread yourself thin when you have so many different diets. And when I got back into this, I had a crusted gecko or two, which is super simple. But then I've only focused. I went into this with a dream of I'm just going to do chondros and rainbow boas because it's something I've loved for 30 years and never had a chance to own. So I went into it very purposefully, and I didn't spread myself. I only have that, and then I fell in love with the genetics of ball pythons. They were my third. Ironically, I backed into them, opposite for most people. So I'm going to be adding some northern white lips, and I'm trying to keep my species very focused so that I'm not spread thin. I'm not brewmating hognose. I'm not dealing with blood pythons or large retics or something that needs more space. Everything's very similar as far as diet, temperature, stuff like that. So it makes my life a little simpler, and I find I do better to stay focused on myself.
Yeah, I think it's easier to you dial in on a certain species or two to, if you want to be successful and try to, learn them and, the basics and, try to breed the stuff at some point. It's hard when you have so many different species. I think you get a little lost, just too many things going on.
There's definitely a balance between being focused and being diversified. And that's something I learned from Emilio from Trap Talk. I was in his Patreon for a while, a year and a half, 2 years ago. And diversity, having something else on the table to bring other foot traffic through when you do vend, or other reasons for people to come visit your morph market store, is that you can't be all things to all people, and that's the fine line of do you have 17 species or do you have 2 or 3, and do it really well. Whether it's a leopard gecko and then chondros, or
Right.
something super rare, maybe even work at.
I think too, keeping is one thing, but if you get into breeding and stuff, if you got a whole bunch of different species you're trying to breed, that's difficult. That's got to be difficult. I think it's not easy to do that.
No, and I lose focus myself if I don't stay and kind of commit it. And now it's going way. It's this new approach as a more mature agent man. As I went into this, I ended up really focused much more on what I was. My goal was clear, and I didn't get distracted by the next shiny glitzy thing. Yeah, there's lots of cool snakes that are very pretty, or hell, even lizards and stuff. But I just know better that I'm just gonna rue the day that I have to, dust these mealworms. Because I had a 500 million jillion discoid roaches, and I couldn't sell them because I just wasn't. Shipping was one thing, but I just didn't have enough customers to get them to even ship them nationwide, and I ended up having to burn the colony because I just had them coming out my ears. I just was like, I had 2 giant Rubbermaid totes, and they were full to the brim, and I was like, man, this is disgusting. They live gross, and oh god, I can breed them. Insects I can breed really well, but I didn't have a sales avenue. When I vend tables, it'll probably be a different story. Because that'd be a nice thing to have there. And it's super simple, but yeah, staying focused is key for sure. Ro, our other co-host, he works this show opposite Mondays for me. He was the first in the chat tonight, so thanks for the support, Ro. Appreciate you, brother.
You guys alternate?
Say again?
You guys alternate?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I kind of took over for Jen from Cigar City Exotics down in the Tampa area. Her and I have been buddies for a while. Kind of around when this show was first starting, she had just had a chondro from Bill, and she really got the bug, and she has done well. She just had her first clutch this year, Jen.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it's awesome. Big one too, like 24 eggs or something.
Yeah, and so she's been going through the nightmare feeding trials and all that good stuff. So she's been busy with life. So I kind of stepped in, and then she trusted me enough to kind of take over. And Mike here at Herp Collectors. So big thanks to them for trusting me. I don't know why, but mistakes were made.
That's great.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Anyone else you want to say hi to? What's the best place to find you? So we have a lot of people are watching right now. We got pretty good viewership, 16 in the lobby. So where we got everyone here, where can we find you best?
Yeah, on the Instagram at SnakeMan78. That's where I have all my posts, and that's the easiest way to get a hold of me.
Right on,
for sure.
Yep. Yeah. What's your preferred sales outlet? You deal in designers. You don't really do you have any locality projects that you sell?
I have some localities. yeah, I mean, those are the first ones I bred back in 2020. Was an Aru, that original, not the original one, but the second one. The Aru and Misol I got in together was a male and a female. It was like they were like 2 years old, roughly. And those are the first ones that I bred back in 2018. I lost the eggs though because I kind of didn't know what the heck I was doing. And then the following year I bred them successfully, and I hatched out 3 of the eggs. So those were my first. Me and my son was back when he was into the stuff and helped me out. So those are my first captive hatch green trees that I produced. Was a root to a Misol locality.
So let's focus on that time frame. I mean, I am not a patient person, and this getting back into this with the focus of breeding, not just being a keeper. As I got back into this, I guess I just doubled down on my focus about 3 years ago, 2.5, 3 years ago, and I'm not a patient person, but man, it's taught you patience.
Yeah, well, these things you definitely have to be. Like I said, I kept them forever. I really never had intentions of getting into breeding and stuff.
That was my question. I was saying the time frame, 09 to 18 or 20. That's a gap.
Yeah.
Now, was it on purpose?
Yeah.
Or
no, I like I said, I didn't have. I had a whole bunch of different stuff, and never really had. I just was a fan of reptiles and stuff, and just had a bunch of different species. I had lizards, geckos, and my kids were into the stuff, so we go to the pet stores and the shows and all that other stuff. So it was more of a bonding thing with us, and so I just started buying different stuff. And
how old were they? How old were your kids then, if you mind me asking, when they were getting into that? What were they, like 5? Were they 15? Like, how old were they?
I don't know, what were they back in then? Around 7, 8, 9, somewhere in that range. I mean, they're
Great
adults
age,
now. That feels like many moons ago.
Right.
But yeah, so that's kind of how that played out. And like I said, I didn't really have intentions of breeding and any of that stuff. And then, I don't know, just things changed in life and kind of just, maybe I was a little intimidated. I didn't think I could do it, to be honest with you. And then that's kind of how meeting a couple of key people helped me out, give me a little push, do this shit. And so that was a big thing too. And then, seeing those first eggs there that I lost because I didn't even have an incubator. My son was kind of pairing the snakes, and life was just different. It was a while ago, and but so then I was like, oh, geez, maybe we can do this stuff, and kind of the breeding stuff, kind of, But then it was another year, and then after we had that small clutch, it was not until 24 when I produced them again. So.
Yeah,
kind of had things very focused over them, from 2018 till present, I guess.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you brought up some perfect points there. That was a segue for what you and I had chatted on Instagram. About a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, we started our dialogue, and it was the focus of you can't just build a legacy. It takes a village. You can't build a legacy on your own. You can't be really successful in this industry without community. And it isn't like you can just go to even a reptile show, much less Petco or something else. You can't just buy some really great blood lineage unless you are in the community. You're not going to have access to some of those top shelf designer animals, some of those bloodlines that are going to set you out in the future. And so you touched upon that. Like it was another 3 or 4 years before you bred successfully. So there's so much patience that was built into your timeline there, and some of it was purposeful, like you said in the beginning. You didn't really get the itch until 18 to 20, something like that. But then you got more focused. Was there someone in your who were your mentors when you decided to say, "Hey, I've been a reptile guy. My kids love it. We love it as a family. I've got X number of animals, and I'm gonna really." Do I need more animals? Do I need different animals? Do I need to change my stock? Do I need to just tell the wife, hey, sorry, we're not going on vacation this year. I bought 5 chondros? Or where was that moment? Who was your influence in 2018 to make you in 20, again, 3 or 4 years later, when you finally said, I'm going to do this seriously? That community, how were you influenced?
I think it was back, I was in, around that 17 to 18. And then I kind of, wanted to learn a little bit more of the stuff with the breeding, and, like I didn't have a room. I just had a couple of, I had stuff kind of all over the place, you know what I'm saying? So, I wasn't keeping things really correctly, I would say, as far as, you know, humidity and all these other different things. You know, you can, you know, keep them and they'll be fine, but it's just, you know, giving them exactly what they want is kind of a different story. You know what I mean? So all those things came into play, and just, yeah, I'm, you know, reached out to, you know, Christian Stewart, Buddy Buscemi, Eddie Appel. Those guys are real instrumental with this stuff. Like, you know, just talking with them and took phone calls. You know, I was really serious into the stuff, and those guys just met them just by emailing, I think it was back then. And, hey, just give me a shout, we can chat. And, you know, it was nice, you know, kind of confidence building, talking to those guys that had been doing it for a while. So, you know, that was huge. And, kind of things took off from there. And then, you know,
Yeah.
a lot of other people along the way through them, and just Instagram after I got, whenever that kind of, that's why I kind of got an Instagram account, because I was kind of serious into this stuff. And so, well, I guess I got to do a social media thing. I can meet a lot more people that are into this stuff, hopefully. And that's kind of how that started. If
Yeah.
it wasn't for the animals, I wouldn't have social media.
Right. Yeah. That's a good
Me
point.
personally.
And, well, those are some really great people to have, I guess, in your ear to kind of say, hey, you can do this. Hey, you know, I've got, hey, I got, maybe you had females that you really, that were of age, and you're like, oh, I don't have a male that I really want to do this with. And, you know, they're just having connections where someone can say, oh, here, you can borrow this male, you know, for the season, or you can use my incubator, or, oh, what went wrong? Why is there so much humidity in your egg box? Here's what I did. Maybe you could try it for yours. And so, oh, don't use that thermostat. Use this one. This one's worked for me the last 5 years. So those little things can help so much.
Definitely. And back then, like I said, it just, you know, I'd been talking to Christian a lot, and that's kind of when I was like, I was keeping things very wrong. And he kind of, you know, you got to get these thermostats, you know, you got to set them up this way, get these friggin' enclosures. And, you know, that was huge, because then things just, you know, and then once you start seeing some changes and stuff, just even in the keeping, and, you know, it's kind of, it just takes off. It's like you know, you either have a passion for something or you don't, and that's when you kind of find out.
So yeah, that's another good point. What technology has changed since then? You know, I love the history of the Conjure game. I saw a paper, a typewritten paper that was included in a PDF in a Conjure group I joined the past week or two ago, and it was neat to see Trooper Walsh have a scholastic article of his experiences and what was going on. And you're talking 75, you know, 78, and what they were doing then. And I love that history to Greg Maxwell, you know, Computer Chondro and Calico Lines and stuff like that. I love reading about that. So I mean, that's a different time frame from, let's say, when you started. But what do you see that was old school then when you got into it and started breeding, and you know, just 2 to 3 years, and that still endures to this day? What's dropped off and become so antiquated and it's laughable? And is there anything that's still going on that has been like, hell, that works, don't fix it if it ain't broke? Is there anything you can point to?
Well, I mean, I think just with equipment, as far as caging and those things, have gotten a lot better. You know, tanks, they hold humidity. Back in, you know, Trooper Walsh and Greg Maxwell and all them, I think the melamine was a big thing, and those freaking cages weighed 1,000 pounds a piece. And, you know,
Greg used to build his own there in Ohio.
Yeah, he was a cage builder too, I believe, Greg Maxwell, and, you know, from reading all of his
I want to meet that guy so bad.
Yeah. You know, those guys that really kind of took off with stuff. And I think the caging definitely is a big thing, and there's a bunch of guys that are doing pretty, you know, well with that. With the PVC, it's all pretty light, and, you know, I use all Pro products, heat panels. There's a few different ones out there, but I swear by those. They're fucking flawless, and they work great, and I've never had any issues.
Is that the gentleman in the Northeast that's the website makes it feel like you're buying something that you're not really buying?
Yeah.
He's all these custom. He wants the dimensions and the material of your enclosure, and he'll tell you, they make a heat panel, right? Is that the gentleman, right?
Yeah, his name's Bob, yeah. Pro Products is the name of his company. Yeah,
I've heard great things about them for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, I've never had any. They're awesome, bulletproof.
That's what I understand.
Really good heat panels.
Yeah, that's
the nice thing with the Herp stats. You know, there's just so many different things you can do with them. You know, if you're not running an ambient room, which I don't, and yeah, you can set them on. You know, you can kill the panels 50% power. So I mean, there's just it's pretty intricate, the shit you can do with them, which is cool. It takes a little while to figure it out. It's a lot, but once you get it, it's just second nature. But
yeah, I keep writing letters to Santa every year. The last couple of years, I'm looking for a Herp Stat 6 spider wire. I'm a size 6 on those. If anyone's looking for me for this coming Christmas, my birthday's in May. If anyone cares, so I love those Herp Stats. I want the spider wire where you get the app remotely. Those are so slick. That's a whole new world.
Yeah,
I can't jump into it.
That's what I have. I have mostly Herp 4s. I have a couple of the 6s, but yeah, no, the equipment definitely has come a long way. And I mean, the way they were doing things back then, I think a lot of, some stuff is still the same. And, everybody adds their own spin to things, and they want to try a few things that are different and see how, I mean, there's a few different ways to do stuff and be successful. It's just nice to be able to talk to others that have success. And, I think climates make a big difference. Like, I'm in the Northeast versus breeders in Florida or Texas. The weather, the weather patterns are completely different. So maybe shit that I'm doing here wouldn't work as well for some. So that's what kind of makes it a little tricky with stuff, because just because it works for me here or it works for someone in Texas and I try to apply that,
I was just going to mention. Yeah, the magical land of Oz, Chondro Oz, Texas. Yeah, that place is a hotbed. So, and that's an interesting point. I touched upon, I think, in a previous show with Alex Warren, was you can, Chondro doing well in Florida is not necessarily going to do well in Arizona. It's going to at least take a year to acclimate. Don't expect that female, if that's what it is, a female of age, to go, right to breeding that season. They may take a year to deal with that. The barometric pressure, the weather system, the humidity, and everything else is different. And those subtle things, they do matter.
I mean, as far as the best way to, with that is, I think that it's a long road. You have to have a lot of patience, but, acquiring, babies from breeders and raising them up yourself, you got 3, 4, 5 years and, your own, nothing like that. And then they're perfectly acclimated from babies in your setups. And I think that's the way you can have the best course of success. Breeding these things.
Yep.
Getting adults in and stuff is great, but it's not an easy science that way. Somebody who's kept something somewhere and then you get it and your acclimation is completely different. Some of them don't do well and they, it goes the other direction, which, it happens more often than not, actually. But
that raising them up from little is something that's a big key I've heard from people that have been successful. There's really no replacement for that. Is when you take the time to raise them up. There's just especially with the females, there's just no replacement for that. So, man, you're drawing a crowd tonight. You're doing good for us, buddy. We got a lot of people in the chat coming out saying hi. I don't know if you can see the chat or not. A lot of people saying hi.
Oh no, I'm on my tablet actually. So I can't see any of the stuff. Hello, everybody. I don't know who's on.
Yeah, we got a good 25 people here, so we got a good crowd out. Everyone's excited to see you here tonight. So that's thanks for.
I was going to say with the adults too, if you ought to, acquire adults and bring them in. I mean, I don't think you can have the intentions of, I got to breed it this year. Like you're going to get some adults in. You really got to get them tuned into your room. Maybe have them for a year and make sure everything's good, and then attempt to breed them that following season. I think if you're getting them in and you're trying to rush, I think that's when there could be a lot of problems.
Yeah,
because some of them, they just don't adjust well sometimes. So I think they need some time. And then once they're good and they're eating and shedding and shitting and everything's cool, maybe try that following season.
So the lessons of don't rush it. And then you touched upon some Christian Stewart and Buddy and people that were on your team to help get you off the ground with breeding. Was there any tough lessons in that you learned yourself? Or is there any point in that time frame that you were stubborn and you said, damn it, I'm going to do it my way? And you're like, oh, shit.
No, not stubborn, but I learned a lot of lessons in keeping. I mean, I lost a lot of these things. And, you just start reflecting internally. And, now looking back, I was just getting things from, getting stuff from the wrong source. And that can be a problem, too. And, you can go through a lot of heartache and, I went through a lot of shit early on, and then, like I said, reached out, got some captive stuff, and started that direction.
So,
and just totally shifted.
We don't have to run
What's
anybody
that?
through the mud. That time frame was like that was the land of Bushmaster and imports and stuff, as far as I understand.
Yeah, that was early on, way before that, back in 2012, 13, 14, just buying different things. And yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, I went through a lot of shit. I lost a lot of animals. And I mean, that was back when, nobody knew what NIDO was. And I think some of it was that probably, but
Okay.
yeah, that's a lot of shit to go through. But
were these known import animals or farm raised that you got, and you were like, you just thought, oh, happy day, I just got these great animals, and they were a cheap price, and then just boom, you had a problem? Or did you go into making those purchases knowing they were a little risky?
It's not even that they were cheap. It was just that's the source I was getting them from, and I kind of didn't know a whole lot of shit. But, I didn't really I had no social media. I didn't even think it was a thing back then, to be honest with you. Maybe there was Facebook around, but I wasn't involved. I was just kind of on my own on an island. So I learned a lot of shit on my own and went through a lot of bullshit. But
yeah, before that, I'm not sure that there was a giant chondro community on MySpace. I don't believe there was, but
yeah, they had like the Facebook forum and stuff, but I never had Facebook. I didn't even know it existed then, because I'm just like a prehistoric guy, I guess. Still kind of am. But,
hey, that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing.
No. Computers can be intimidating sometimes.
Yeah.
These young kids get on and they can do everything on them. But.
Yeah, I could never work in IT. I think my go-to tool would be a hammer, because when I get really frustrated, I'm just like,
yeah, exactly. I'm the same way.
I don't have the patience.
They frustrate me.
Oh, look, your syntax is all wrong on the background. You got a period instead of a colon. You should have typed that differently. The whole page is broke. I can't deal with that. I like things that work. You put your hands on.
I agree.
So how many animals you got there? You got a great looking room. How many adult breeders and females and males? What's your ratio on that?
I probably got like, I don't know, I want to say around 30, 35 sub-adult, adults, somewhere in that range. And I got a couple,
35, huh?
Some smaller stuff, yearlings, and I got my clutch from 2025. I moved a few of them, and I still have quite a few of them, but hopefully once the weather breaks, I can get them all the way they got to go. So that'll be nice. But yeah, I probably got with babies and everything and all that. I mean, 60 plus. It's a lot. I got a lot. It's a lot for one guy.
Yeah, for sure. You think your kids are growing? They are all out of the house, or do they spend any time with your old dad to help you out with any of that anymore, or no?
Well, my daughter lives with me still, and like when I went away on a work trip back in December, and she kind of held the fort down. It was a little nerve-wracking for me, but she did okay. She took care of the babies, so that was a good thing. And a little intimidated by the adults and stuff. But.
Yeah, well, people that aren't snake people look at them. They're like, are those poisonous? Because that face, that menacing, the jaw muscle, and the way their head's shaped. And then the giant.
Yeah, they can definitely be intimidating for people that.
Cool to look at them. Yeah. I mean, why did we like them? Why did we get into them? Because they're badass. That's why we look at them. They look awesome. I mean, what'd you
badass looking eye candy.
Yeah, that's cool. So you touched on Aru quite a bit there in the beginning days. Do you have a locality that ended up being your favorite that you like to mix into your designer projects, or is Aru still hold a special place in your heart?
Yeah, no, they were the first two that I got, and I still have that original. The second chondro was the one that I bred. The second Aru they were both females, but the second one was the one I bred originally, and I produced 3 animals from her, and I still have her, and I have the 3 offspring too. And so definitely a special place. I still have her. She's like 16 now, I think, 17.
Nice. I forget what the handle was, so forgive me if I step on any toes. There was someone on Instagram I saw on my feed. They had a male, was 20, 21 years old. He still put in work. They're hoping to have a clutch from him.
Probably Marshall's Versace.
Oh, I've heard of that. Well, I've heard that story from Marshall on some of his podcasts. Yes.
Yeah, I think his is like 22 or 23. His male that still putting work in. Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Stick him out there. Tape him to the stick, make sure his tail's dangling so you can, that's something that is cool. Yeah, appreciate thanks for the super chat, Tropical Starburst. I appreciate that very much. Super chat is great. We love your support, and of course, don't forget our sponsors. We run ads for them, and they are the bread and butter of keeping the show afloat. So thanks everyone for your support, big time. So are you still acquiring animals? Is your pretty much a closed community now? Your colonies is set. You only have your home backs, and that's it. Or do you still acquire from time to time?
Yeah, I mean, not that I need to, but I mean, I'm always, I like getting new snakes in too. That I mean, now that I'm producing my own, it's cool. But I don't know, something neat about going down to FedEx and getting a new animal in. It never gets old. So,
Right.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. So, is there?
Open.
You still love Aru? Is there any other localities that you like to have in the mix in your designer projects?
Yeah, I mean, I have some Beox that I've gotten. I have a couple of them. I have, what else do I have for? I think that's pretty much it for locality. I do have I was sold to me as a Kofi Isle type male. I have one of them, a few Beox, and I have the one Aru female left. So not a big locale. I like the designer stuff personally, but I just like green trees in general. I like arboreal snakes in general. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so Alex, I saw this past week on Instagram. My favorite localities designer, Texas chondro designer.
yeah, I saw that. That's funny.
It is funny. Yeah, I'm always jealous of their hotbed down there. And he was like, "Yeah, I didn't realize when I was getting into it. He's dropping names. This person's 30 minutes away. They were an hour away. There's just a handful of people within that area. It's like, wow, it's so
cool. There's a lot of guys there, and I think there's some in Florida, and then Maryland had a big capital of them. Early on in the early chondro days, a lot of guys in Maryland.
Speaking of which, despite such a dense population in the Northeast, I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's a bad assessment, but the reptile show circuit is not as robust or doesn't get as much buzz. It's not as exciting as some of the other areas. I know you got White Plains, but I've also heard it's crammed.
I think that's in New York, the White Plains. There's one in Manchester that's not far from me. They have back when I used to go to it, there was twice a year. I think they do it 8 times a year now. Manchester, New Hampshire. That's the only big show around here. Not that it's big, but it's the only one.
Yeah. Have you ever traveled to go to some shows, just for whether you're helping a buddy or going to meet?
Well, I've been to that one. There was one in Lewiston, Maine. I went to a couple times when I was into the ball pythons, and I've been out to the one in Dallas near where Bill's house is. I've been to that a few times.
My friend Chuck, he's in the comments tonight over there in New Jersey. Chill Chondros. He said he always said he has great things to say about you. He says he always loves chatting with you and the wife down in Dallas at Bill's parties. He said you're just an absolute gentleman. So he's a good friend of mine. I've got an animal of his behind me in my little
Chuck's a good dude. Yeah, we were he was the last couple of years I've seen him. He's come down to Bill's party.
Yeah.
We had
I was trying to get there this past September, and something came out. I forget that month. And I had a hotel booked, and my wife bought an outfit and shoes, and I picked it out, and it just didn't work out. It doesn't have the money. I think something came out with the car, if I remember correctly. And I was like, you just can't afford to drop the money to go. I wasn't even going to buy animals. I was strictly going as a social. Because I went to meet.
It's a lot of fun. It's a good time. Bill's is always a good time. I didn't even go to the show this year. Just more so down to hang out at Bill's and hang out with all the guys and let's have some fun, shoot the shit.
Oh man, I love those photos, the group photos, man. They got Patrick and Sal, just Lupe, just everyone's Chuck, everyone's just shoulder and shoulder, red eyed from the night before. It's just man, those are cool ass photos. To see everyone get together, literally globally, and it's just
really did a lot of partying this year for sure at Bill's. There's a lot of it nightly.
Yeah, I can't wait to go. I met Bill and some of that crew and at the show just as a kind of building my social media and stuff and presence, going out there, shake hands and meet people. And that was in the fall of 24. And I didn't feel like I was ready to go to Bill's party. I had nobody. And I had one chondro, one thing. And he's like, "No, man, you should have came. You should have came last night." And I was like, "Damn, I wish I had."
Yeah.
And he's like,
he's very welcoming to people for sure.
Yeah.
He throws a great party.
So since you've been around, speaking of community, you mentioned people that help influence you, and they were no small potatoes. Very, very notable names. As time's gone on, have you become a mentor to anybody? You know, I had done the Epic conference with Bash Coder Craig, and I had a tract with Flawless Creations and AE Geckos. AE Geckos is a guy that just kind of broke the ground on all the top end morphs on Crusty Geckos, and was there when he was there when the getting was good, so to speak. And they've become lifelong friends now. But we studied the mentor-mentee relationship. What did Brian get out of it? What did he get? He was flush with money. He had everything he wanted in the reptile community as far as his favorite species and his attraction was. Why to help Will and Audra and with Flawless down there in South Carolina? What did he get from it? And since they've now matured and become what they have, how has their relationship changed? And have you mentored anybody? And what's your opinion of being a mentor-mentee? How does that help or hurt you as a breeder?
No, I mean, I think I'm not sure if I've helped a lot of people out that, I'll help anybody or answer anything to the best of my knowledge, stuff that I've been through, or, so I'm always open for that stuff. Like I said, I have people reach out to me about just random stuff, and whether it's breeding or keeping or, certain animals to get or thinking about getting into. So, I'm definitely open to that. I never shy away from that. So anybody that wants to reach out and talk about any of this stuff, I love doing it.
Just take note. I am available for adoption. So if you need anybody there, I can clean cages, feed rats.
I would definitely could use somebody like that here. It's a lot of work.
I'm a little old, but I'm very friendly. So
yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, no, I'm definitely open either way. I mean, like I said, I've met some great people and become, really good friends with people that I never would have met in my life had it not be for our, passionate green trees. That's where our road met, and, just hit it off from there. And yeah, it's pretty neat how snakes can do something like that.
Oh, yeah. It is so cool.
You're at someone's house across the country, have going for dinner, and it's like, wow, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is really awesome. I know that when I started podcasting and doing this crazy idea in May of 24 and on TikTok, and things went very well, and just the opportunity to meet people, and like then the people that are friends, even that weren't breeders, just hobbyists that look to, God forbid, that me for advice and stuff, is like, oh, bless you, child. But then we became friends, and like it was people that you would hang out with on TikTok, on the regular, and we'd be in your rooms, and we just had a common interest in certain reptiles or whatever, and then they become real life friends. Then you end up seeing our show, and now we got phone numbers. Now we text. We don't just see each other on the TikTok live and hanging out one night. And it's so neat to see that evolution of people that you never meet, but then just over time you become friends in real life, and that's a super cool side effect, I think, of being in this community, and I assume others as well. But the reptile community, sure, it's pretty cool. The trade shows,
I think it's awesome.
I don't even know, like, sports collectibles. There's trade shows for that, but you don't have to keep them. You don't have like, oh God, this one was egg bound. I lost this beautiful animal. I spent all this money on it. It's like, well, I got this perfect case from Mickey Mantle card, and it's hermetically sealed and it's kept in a perfect room. Cool. How much is it worth? And are you selling? But us, we got like, oh man, that snake, it broke a tooth, it broke a jaw. Now, how did you get past it, or did you? And so you kind of, you've got some blood, sweat, and tears into it. It's different than other communities. And I don't know, show dogs and animals like that, it gets so cutthroat. It's so money oriented. And though these animals aren't the cheapest, it's not a hobnob. It's not based, I don't think, so much on. I mean, Bill shoot the crap with me. I was a nobody. I owned one chondro, and had to buy one I was paying off from Carly at Costa Morelia. And that's when I was in Dallas at 24. And even though I was literally not worth a damn in the community as far as, oh, well, what do you got, kid? Like, no. And Bill was still gracious enough. Everyone I met, Sal, super nice, from the Cryptic Chondros from the UK. They were just so friendly, and it just really blew me away. And I like that. I think it's because we deal with living creatures. Aside from their beauty, aside from they can bite you, and that they're just badass looking. And that's, I think, what drew us in. it's just that you're keeping a living creature, and it's not a dog show. It's not so, oh, keeping up with the Joneses. It's more of, man, we love
Right.
these things. We want to make something new that's badass. What's the next thing? It's different than
I mean,
other.
there is that stuff in all communities, but yeah, for the most part, it's great as far as, you know, everybody's willing to help one another, which, you know, is awesome.
Yeah. Handy Exotics. He said he helped out and mentored me to quit being so modest. Dan, I see that in the comments. Handy Exotics giving you
Oh,
big shout out.
oh, that's awesome. What's up, Keith?
That's cool. There we go. We'll throw it on screen. Hey, that's a nice looking animal he's got there in his little thumbnail.
Yeah, he just had a clutch of green for his first clutch a few months ago, 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah. So let's touch just briefly. We touched on you. We don't want to go through all the particulars. I don't rehash that every time with temperature you keep, humidity you keep, branded cage. We can, but you've been doing this 19 years now, you know, with the focus. So I don't want to wear you out on that. You had mentioned maybe showing us some Neos you had, some that are already spoken for. I know you had one. It was mid-January. You had one available. I think you had one up on Morph Market a week or two ago. Has that been spoken
Yeah,
for?
I sold a few on Morph Market. I still have one red available from that 2025 clutch, and I have 2 yellows. So I still have 3 available, and the rest are spoken for. But yeah, I mean, I can show off whatever you want to see.
Yeah, if you got some. I know it's hard to take out adults this time of night. But yeah, if you got any like little ones that you could show off, I would love to have some more animals on screen. If you need to step away a moment, do you mind if I share some of your Instagram pics on screen here?
No.
Yeah.
If you want to do that first, if you want to go through some of that, and then I can show you live stuff, why don't we do that?
Yeah, man. I got your page pulled up right
If you have
here.
any questions on certain whatever.
What is your designer? You know, is a term that gets thrown around, and I'll admit it took me some self education between a designer outcross animal that you purchase and what is actually truly a designer. What's some? I mean, are you in the high yellow? Are you in the calico? I see kind of some of that both represented on your page.
I have a little bit of everything. I like the high yellow stuff. I love the calico stuff. I like the melanistic stuff, and then all that mixed into one another. So yeah, no, I like all of it. To be honest with you, I have a little bit of all of it.
And that's probably a great way to be, man, for real. That's let's see. Here's an animal. And
yeah, that's a 2022 calico male. But my friend Eddie Appel produced that.
Beautiful. Now I love the blacks. I mean, who doesn't? That's just
yeah, that's got just about every cut. That thing's really nice. That's what it's going to be 4 in May, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing those pictures. I got to put on that reel yesterday.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that was great to see. Kind of a timeline.
That was pretty impressive reel you made. Wow.
Yeah, and that really wasn't as many bells and whistles as you might think. It's just that you spend so much time. Those are not. I don't even have any fancy software. I just kind of dig really deep in either CapCut, Instagram's editing itself, my phone's native basic stuff. It's just learning how to layer them together. And I guess I love iconography and graphic design stuff. So it's fun to me. Music, I love music. So
yeah, that's a really fucking awesome animal. That's obviously a high yellow. That was a red baby originally, and it's for 2022. No, I'm sorry. I think the 2021. That's a 4.5-year-old female, and she's solid yellow. I mean, she's fucking unbelievable.
A healthy looking specimen. Look at just the weight. It's just a very robust animal. Looks great.
Yeah, she's. I was gonna try her this year, but I had so much other stuff going on that I was doing, and I didn't. You know what? I can wait.
What's your plans then? What are you going to pair her with?
I have a couple of like that male you pulled up earlier. That calico male. I think will pair well because he's got some nice high yellow stuff in his lineage. So that one right there.
Yeah, man, that's a neat yellow. It's almost it kind of adheres to a dorsal pattern. I mean, obviously it's speckled all over, but the yellow is concentrated in some spots that's pretty unique, aside from its speckling. That is a really cool
Yeah,
animal.
that one would definitely be a candidate to put with that. And I have this other high yellow male that I want to try too. So there's a few different options, but yeah, that's. I hope he's wants to be a good breeder because he's really nice.
You've got so many awesome red neos, man. It's just your production. They're really dark, kind of I see a theme, and I don't know if it's maybe the same parents but they turn out so different. But the neos have a definite theme to when you glance at them all. It's really pretty neat. Let's see this.
Yeah, that's a calico female. That's a 2022 Christian Stewart production. That famous pear and velvet and that single herp male. All those clutch mates were really, really nice. That was a hell of a clutch. They were all awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got lucky. Christian hooked me up with that female, and I mean, that picture does her no justice. I got her on a reel outside, I think, in there, and she's just about every color of the rainbow. She's awesome looking.
Shout out to my brother Mike. I see up there in St. Louis joining the chat. Thanks for rolling through, fam. Real fam. Appreciate you guys. Love you. So are these dorsal flecks that are are they really a rusty red color as an adult? Is that?
Yeah, it's the same neo color, that dark. They turned she was kind of purplish, to be honest with you, and then somewhat patternless, and then yeah, that's all her baby rusty brick red. It's all. I mean, you can't even see really. I think if you pull up the video, it's a little bit more visible. But yeah, she's got that all down her neck and towards the mid back.
You just don't see rusty red scales too often.
Yeah,
I one breeder that has them. Maybe some of my favorite chondros on the planet is northern chondros in Sweden.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God! I only know the eye candy. I know nothing else about the operation, but golly, that person.
Sweden, right?
Say again?
I think he's in Sweden, maybe.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yep. I'm just going through your page. There's so many. I just don't even know what to click on. You got a direction you want me to point to before we head to these babies? Anything I should pull up that you really want to touch upon? So I'm not just spinning my wheels. Some nice.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of shit on there. Whatever you want to know. Yeah, that was her as a neonate.
The one that had from Christian that had that kept the rust speckles down the dorsal.
Yeah, the one that kept the rusty red neck.
All right, so that's pretty patternless. Sometimes,
yeah, she was almost.
Pattern.
She was more like purple in color, and she had minimal patterning on her.
Huh. If you were to pick out a neo, do you go for the most reduced pattern or the most laid out pattern or erratic, or do you have anything you like to go by when judging a neo that you might?
Yeah, I mean, I like that. I like that freakish looking one that stands out. But it's funny because even with the ones that I this past year that I have now, seeing them all change. It really, I mean, typically, yeah, if you get something that's real dark and reduced, it should turn out to be something pretty cool. But some of the normal looking, red ones turn out to be really awesome. I mean, that's what's really awesome about these, because you really just don't know.
Yep. Let's see. Will this thing play? Here we go. Let's see how it plays. Speaking of going through changes, this is that reel you were mentioning I put together.
Oh, yeah.
One
and
animal.
That thing's that thing looks like a calico snake, and a lot of people ask me, and I'm like, oh, it doesn't have it in the lineage. It certainly looks like one, but yeah, that one's really nice.
And then not because A, I don't know, and B, if I did know, I'd keep it to myself, because I like to ask the same questions that the audience might have in their mind. Why does that look like a calico to you?
It's just where, if you see where the head and the neck is, it's got all that pixelated along the neck. That's usually like an indicator of a calico snake. If you see a lot of the true phenotype calico animals, they have that distinct neck that's orange and red and speckled black and all different colors in it.
Is this a good picture as an example, or do I need to move?
No, it's once it changes.
Mm-hmm. I want to see if I can bring that up. Is that, let's see.
Yeah, it'd be on the last picture or the second to last.
All right. I love how pure those diamonds are on the back. The outlines are so clean, and just they're not muddy at all. They just scream. It looks awesome when it starts to change.
Yeah.
Golly. Really, really great.
Yeah, you'll see maybe in that one if you can.
I don't know if I can blow it up at all. Let me see. Nah, it wants to resist me. I was using the old control plus sign trick, but it didn't want to do it. You know what I could do, though? I might have that actual picture.
Oh, right there.
Yes,
that's the dad.
Right. Yes. And like you said, you never know what you're going to get. Like, I wouldn't look at dad and go, man, here it is. We're going to have a really amazing, it's so incredible. That's what's so neat about the lineage and understanding the bloodlines of where.
Yeah, and that clutch was neat too, because all the babies all went and like they all had different like phenotypic looks to them, which was pretty neat. Like not one was the same, which was awesome. Yeah, the mom's a high yellow baby, and the dad was a red baby.
Man, where's your designer game take you next? What are you thinking you're going to end up doing? Is there anything that you haven't tapped into that you want to maybe try in that, or are you kind of like happy with where you are and you're going to perfect it? And what's your plans for your next creations?
Yeah, I mean, obviously just want to really produce some really nice, Frankenstein looking off the wall stuff.
Yes.
Hopefully. I have a mixture of a bunch of stuff, so hopefully I can do that and off to a pretty good start. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Like I said, got a little bit of everything, so hope we can produce and make some really cool looking creations.
Hell yeah. Yeah. I need it. My next Chondro purchase is going to be, I don't know when it'll be, but I think the 3 I have here are all females. And you said that would be a good thing. And
yeah, that's not a bad thing.
No, I just have not had a sperm plug. One of them's probably 3 years old, and the others are, maybe I'd have to grab a calendar, but they're a little over a year, a little around 2, and I just have had no signs of a sperm plug at all on the shed. And we'll see. You don't know that you have a female till they're on eggs, right? Isn't that the saying? But
that's true.
So I will see. But either way, I have at least one girl out of the 3. I'm sure of that. And so I think my next purchase will be as far as I am concerned, that I can afford a higher end red Neo, former red Neo, a male. So I'm gonna do something awesome, and that's gonna be my next Chondro purchase. Less spreading myself thin and more focused, and I think that'll be it'll work out. The only other ingredient I have to swallow is a bitter pill, and that is patience. Damn it! But I'll have to do that.
Definitely need that. It helps keep you grounded with these.
Yeah. Speaking of grounded, how do you keep your females when they're on egg laying watch? Do you put a box? Do you have an egg box in your enclosure? Do you pull your perches? Do you put them in a ball python style drawer with nothing and a wet towel? Like, what do you do when it's the week of birthing the eggs?
Yeah, so usually what I do is, this year, I've tried a few different things, but as far as box wise, I'll put the egg box in, and I'll take the top perch out. They usually have their bottom one, and sometimes I take the water out, and sometimes I haven't, but just as long as it's not right directly under that low perch that's in. So hopefully if they don't go into the box, but they've all been pretty good about going into the box and messing around in there. So I just have a plastic 15-quart box. I cut a hole in the top, and I'll just put some moist towel in there, microfiber almost. And that's all I do. Pretty simple.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes the simplest stuff with these chondros, man. I touch on that almost every week. Is get a multi-$1,000 snake and put it in a $7 tote from Walmart. And that's the best thing you can do in the world for it. It's so cool.
Oh, they do well in them for sure.
Yeah,
but
so
egg
box, nothing fancy.
Egg box.
Now, you're not big into the computer stuff, and I get it. I might like graphics and editing stuff, but as far as like problem solving when a computer won't do what I want it to do, like I said, that usually comes down to I wish I had a hammer. So what do you are you tech in it so much as like do you cameras? Do you anything remote in your egg box? I know a lot of people like really get into the tech and have their Govies and want to watch everything and monitor it from remotely, and which sounds cool. But also, can you be plugged in too much? What do you do for tech when it comes to egg laying? Anything?
Yeah, I don't have any of all that stuff. I mean, I have a room camera in the room just so I can see stuff when I'm out of the way. Just spin around if I want to, whatever. But nothing in depth like in egg boxes and like I've seen some guys with all that stuff. I have a single cam just to keep an eye on the room itself when especially if I'm away for a couple of days, just to poke around, just for my own I don't know, security or well-being or whatever you want to call it.
Right. Yeah.
As far as watching, I don't have like the people with video, which is cool, but I don't have any of that stuff. I'm in my room a lot, though. Like when I'm not at work and I'm home, I'm in here all the time. It's always stuff to do. So
35 animals.
I'm in here a lot. Yeah.
Right.
I'm working every day in here, so I'm always in here in the afternoon.
Recipe for success, man. Don't let your foot off the gas pedal. Just
no.
Doesn't mean you have to stress about it, but you're just present. You're there. You're checking. Someone told me, I forget who it was, someone notable, but one thing they did, they always a temp gun. Oh yeah, here's this animal. I'll show you this part of this wall here. Temp gun. Went around always checking, just looking for any anomaly. Not that he had to tweak anything, turn any knob or up, down. Just always on top.
Good
of it,
habit.
Taking in data. Yeah. Oh, that water's dirty.
Good
Yeah. It's sometimes it's the simple things that can go the longest way. Chuck likes to say you can carry your animals to death. You can do too much. Don't tinker so much. Trust.
Yeah.
Trust your knowledge. Trust the input you're getting. Form your own path. But don't overthink it. Don't be over here switching this. Oh, they need to be a degree higher. Oh, degree cooler. Oh, that's too hot. Now you've screwed that animal. Keep it even, Steven.
Less is more with these, though. Seriously, when you get into your head too much and start over caring or overthinking, I think that's when problems start happening.
Agreed.
Sometimes when you're at this long enough, you start learning and reading your animals. They'll tell you what's going on.
Yeah. Yep. That's one reason I like they're opaque, but I call them clear tubs on the ball pythons that I have, because a lot of the higher end racks they're solid. They're you can't see through.
Yeah,
but
can't see, right?
And I use a cheaper tub, but it's they don't crack. They do fine. They're not as tough as what I would like. But you know what? If I walk in and every ball python is plastered on the front of the tub, I go, oh shit, they're too hot. Something's wrong.
Yeah.
Or I can see the humidity. I don't need to get in there with a hygrometer and a meter. If I have, the proper amount, which is relative, the proper amount of fogging on the front of the glass, because they keep the cool side damp and the warm side dry. And their tub, front's cool, wet, the back is warm and dry. That I could walk in a room and be like, oh, I need to throw some water in that one right there. That one's a little dry. Those three, they must be where the hotter part of the room is. They're all dried out. Everyone else looks good. Grab the water, spray, just pour some water in there. And I'm watching humidity. And if they're all glued to the back wall, and then I know, so maybe they're a little cold. Maybe that thermostat's off or something. So the clear, as they're pacing. The males are like at the front of the tub, and is he ready to breed? Is he looking for food? Like, is he just curious? The clear tubs, I like to come in. It's so simple, but I do index cards, hanging on a little clippy. Oh, when they eat last 3 days ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever it is. Husbandry pro, and keeping track of all that's awesome. But nothing beats simplicity sometimes, and is just as simple as trusting your knowledge and using your two eyes.
Yeah, it's nice when you can trust that. Takes a while sometimes, but
yeah, right. 30 years to be exact. When I was your age, I love. It's been a wild ride. I wish I had been focused into breeding further in the past, but life is, I guess, what it is, and it comes to you when it comes to you. So
you're here and now. That's the main part.
Hell yeah. Let's see some of these babies that you got that are still hanging around. You're waiting for
any particular ones, or we'll just pull out a few.
Man, pull out your favorites. I just want to take us on your journey.
Okay, I'll pull a few out.
Let's see here. Let's see. We're gonna spy on Daniel's snake room here. Look at this. I love the continuity in your cages there. It's you got a plug for your cages. They look like they're the same brand. We've talked about your thermostats and your heat panels. Man, you're back away from the camera just a little bit. Back away from the lens a little bit. There you go. Boom.
I don't know if the lighting's the greatest. You know what? Let me try. Hold on one sec. Hold on one sec.
I love the orange on that nose and top of the head. Oh yeah, that'll help focus it.
Worse or better?
You know, it's worse actually. The color was more dramatic in the darker.
Okay.
Yes, actually. Yep. I mean, audience, chat, anybody? I think it was cooler in the. We got more oranges and color
If
gradient.
I stand in front of it with my shirt.
It's the motion that's more. It's focusing okay. It's the motion in general. I know it's a little bitty guy. Yeah. There's blues in there.
How's that?
Yellow. That's awesome. The reds and oranges. I love the orange on top of the nose to match the eyes. Stunner. Who's getting this baby?
What's his name? Alex Moss. I don't know if Chondro strain. I don't know if you know him.
I don't know. So everyone should go follow him. Go give his follow. Go give his page a follow. Drop him a few new followers.
Yeah.
He's getting a cool.
He does some pretty cool graphic stuff. Like he's into graphics and photography. He does some pretty neat stuff on his page.
Hey.
It's Chondro with a K strain, I think.
Chondro strain. Okay. Yeah, good. Hey.
Yeah, definitely give him a
grow.
Definitely give him a
graphics guy. That's an awesome animal. Any suspicion on gender yet? Too soon.
No, I don't. I have no idea.
You know, there should be someone. Whoever the next startup is, I'm gonna give you a name. It's gonna be. Hey, there's Chondro strain. Look at that. Hey, he's in the chat now. There's some loyalty right there. Like, see, people love you, Daniel.
Well, that's nice. Nice to hear. That's nice to hear. This is a yellow one, obviously.
Starting to change. Like I got dipped in a little bit of green paint.
Yeah, it's just starting to change. And then I have one that's, you know, pretty. I'll grab that one next so you can see the difference with the change on it. Like a wicked dark green.
Huh. These are the same. These are all clutch mates. Is that correct?
Yeah, these are all the 2025 clutch mates.
Wild how different they could be. I am looking for. I am trying to find. Never. There we go. I never do my Instagram from computer. There we go. Alex Moss. I am following Alex now. Damn, I haven't seen your page before. Let's get
so this is one that's come through the change quite a bit.
Oh yeah. Look at that green. Is that green really that emerald? Like that's not even lime on the lateral side. It's
no,
really
it's dark, real dark.
Wow. This is a yellow Neo? And it's that dark?
This is a yellow, yep.
Huh.
That's what's cool about some of the designer stuff, the yellows. Like some of them I noticed they go like a forest dark green. It's different from like a locality green. Usually it's like a lemon, like a lime type, you know, and it's
like
just
a lemon
like
a lime to the lemon. Man. Yeah, Chondro strain's got some cool animals. We'll share that screen here in a sec. It's a nice page, man. I just followed you, Alex Moss. A nurse, a photographer, special needs dad. Awesome. Out there crushing it. Nice looking collection. Nice photography, too, on your page, brother.
This was a red baby.
Yeah, that's going in a nice direction. That's going to be. You don't need a crystal ball to tell that's going to be something badass.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Look at those. Look at the randomness of the melanistic scales, aka beautiful. Man.
Yeah,
who's getting that one?
What's that?
Who's getting that one? Is that one that's coming to my place in the weather breaks, right?
Yeah, this one's going to, actually, this one's going to, he's a ball python guy just getting into chondros.
He doesn't deserve it.
Jarrett Ray, I think his last name. Scalation Nation.
Okay.
I don't know if you.
That's a good pickup. That's a good place to start.
He's a ball python guy. He's coming over to the dark side now in the chondro world.
Yep. And soon he'll be like Carly, calling them pet rocks, and he'll sell his whole collection, and we'll have a wall like yours in about 5 years. Man, that deep green tropical starburst. Yeah, that deep green was really neat on the set. Holy shit. That thing is. Wow.
Yeah, this one's turning out pretty cool, so really nice.
That's my face. That thing is. Dude. Wow. Look at the oranges. I mean, I'm getting like an old school Halloween vibe from that between the orange. I know it'll change, but the oranges along with the dark green on that thing. Look at the aqua blue dark green in there hiding out along with the yellows.
Yeah, it's got a lot of different stuff happening. The diamonds are really nice on this.
Man. That one, please be a male. Please, whoever's getting that? You want that one to be a boy because that thing is badass.
Yeah, this one here I think is going to stay with me.
No! Yeah. What's the number one rule? Be your number one customer. You got to have the holdbacks.
I was going to show you this other one, but he's in shed still.
That's all right. Let's see. Let's take a look at Chondro Strains page here for just a hot second. Really good looking photography. Awesome editing. You did say you were a graphics guy.
Oh, yeah, that's Alex's page, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I've had the pleasure. This DC Chondros. Oh, man. Yeah, Danny. I've been prying. I'm gonna get DC Chondros on here one day. DC Chondros. I felt like this. I didn't.
Oh yeah, Danny. Danny's a good guy.
And he just came out of nowhere, at least as far as my radar goes, to just have this awesome badass collection. And that's like, dude, you've got to come on. And he's like, no, give me some time. I will when I'm ready. I feel like I need more to prove before I'm like, dude, just come on. You got a killer collection. Man, Chondro Strain. I'm not sure what you're doing, but hopefully you get a lot of new followers tonight because you ain't doing it wrong. Wow.
Yeah, he's got some neat graphic stuff that he does with the.
Yeah.
Really.
So, man, even if you're not getting a snake from him or selling him one, maybe you say, hey, here's a few files. Maybe you can help me out here. What you need to get these snake pictures looking badass? Because there it is, the more complete Chondro. He's got the hardcover. I want the hardcover so bad. I have it digitally, and
yeah, I got the hardcover.
I want the hardcover because I want to meet Greg Maxwell. I want him to autograph it. Damn it, I really, really do. I usually do those photos, huh?
I'll pull out one of my 2024 ones. Let me see if it doesn't bite me.
Well, we hope so. We have to make a sacrifice to the bloodletting gods, or the show doesn't go. It won't live on. So if something happens, man, I'm with you, Daniel. I'm on your side. I've been hoping to show some animals on the show, and you offered. I didn't even bug you about it. You offered, and so I was like, perfect timing. Let's see this. I've been hoping to get some more live critters here, and look, we are doing it tonight. I love it. This is a 24 model.
This is 24. Yeah, this was a red baby, and that was from that. The one that you did the reel for me. This is a clutch mate.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's a killer clutch.
Yeah, they all, like I said, a lot of different looking. This one's like really nice yellow, and it's got a lot of orange and blue starting to come in around the yellow diamonds, like a light blue. It's really neat. There you go. Now you can kind of see it.
Yeah, that's some good focus there.
Baby.
Nice. Now, I find that people that are more established in their breeding programs and maybe, have been at it at least 2-3 years, they start to have kind of a vibe, a theme. Maybe it's relative to the animals that they bought that were, just maybe it's relative to their breeding stock, or it's their own personal taste. They've acquired animals because they like the look of it. And like they said, you never can tell what you're going to get. What do you think? There's some people I admire a lot, and I just in the community, not just for like intelligence or how they keep or how they do social media, but when you look at their animals year in and year out, and even past productions that were before I started paying attention, you look at their social media. There's a handful that like, oh wow, this guy's got a certain look and he's a certain vibe to him. I mean, Bill Stiegel obviously is a good example of that, but even Lupe at Space City Chondros, Chuck at Chill Chondros, he loves a fat blue dorsal stripe. That's his jam. Carly down in Coastal Morelia, a buddy of mine as well. She loves the high yellows. She's got a whole bunch of European import high yellow stuff. Dimitri up in Chicago, his animals I think are really unique. Articchondros. I can't put my finger on it, but there's a pastel-ish to the mauves and the browns and the reds, and then the blues and yellows are muted, but they work so neat together, the color palette of his animals. And I'm not saying they're better or worse breeders or that one's right or wrong. I like them all. Is there anybody that you say, oh man, if I can get my hands on a creation from that person, do you have anyone like that you kind of hoping to get some blood in your stacks? And do you have any repeat customers that feel that way about you?
Yeah, I mean, I got stuff from a bunch of different people, but if I had to pick someone, it'd probably be foreign. So I don't know how that would work. I like that the guy that you mentioned there, the Northern
Chondros.
Yeah, he's got some just off the wall stuff.
Man, I would love to have him on the show. The time difference gets tough though, but
yeah, he's got some off the wall shit.
Oh god, that guy's got a great collection. I did a live show one time with an Australian guest. Let me tell you, that was tough. Out of Perth, there were 17 hours in the future.
Oh, yeah.
When I was 6, it was like 6 o'clock here, and it was like 8 a.m. tomorrow, a different date, and the whole was like the logistics of getting that programmed up. Oh man, that was tough.
Big time.
We still got it wrong. Her and I were in constant contact about this because we both knew it was difficult, and I was still an hour early for her. Like I rushed her by an hour early, which you should never do to a woman, by the way. It was an hour early, and I was like, damn it, I spent 2 weeks trying to like calculate and the slide rule and a calendar and a abacus and like a sundial, and I'm like, hey, we got this, and I was still an hour too early. It worked out though. They're still on, but getting them from overseas, England, what is it, 6 or 7 hours? That can work to an extent, but after that, the further east you go, it gets worse. Sweden shouldn't be too bad. They're probably like 8 or 9 hours at most ahead.
Yeah, I think they're like Sweden, probably 6 to 8. I'm not sure in that range.
So, does he speak English? Do you know? Because I'm gonna hit him up.
I don't know. I think
probably they're smarter than us. They're multilingual.
Yeah, exactly. Nice, really nice collection.
Man, yeah. I think we've interacted before briefly online in messages, so he at least knows I exist. But I don't know if I could ever get him on the show because I think a lot of people look up to what he does. And is there overseas? Do you have any? The Chondro game feels like we're pretty advanced, but they have stuff that pockets of awesomeness, and it doesn't spread quite as wide. Do you think there's any hotbeds that's the next up and coming thing that'll influence our market? The ball pythons are getting influenced by Japan and South Korea. There's some cool shit they're doing that's wow. And then even though you got to look at Prague morphs, they're the Canova of Europe right now. They're just Prague morphs. There's some really cool things going. Do you see any other influence coming into the U.S. as far as aesthetics or bloodlines that you're aware of?
Well, I know Carly and the guy, I think Matt, brought in those king line animals, which was that's really awesome. I mean, it's just, I guess the logistics of bringing things over is what always kind of stops some of that, just because it's just not easy, either way, even getting stuff over to Europe, and I think a lot of people don't do it, just a lot of permitting, and there's just a lot of headaches involved.
Oh man. Yeah. Yep. I've had
It's
some
unfortunate. It's too bad it has to be that way.
right.
Like Australia, I don't even think they can bring anything over there, or
They have
vice
been closed
versa.
borders since '75,
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I've got some chapters with Kyle Markham Reptiles, and we've got a multi-species chat group. It's pretty nicely curated by him as who's invited. But there's the people in Australia kind of covet our flexibility to how many different localities we can get, and then we covet what we always want what you can't have, So I guess that's what it comes down to. But yeah,
It's always like that with anything.
the chondro's always greener on the other side of the fence.
Exactly.
That's great. Well, what else am I missing? What else am I missing about legacy? I really want to hit on something. Like I said, I don't want to just every week do the same show of like, what's your temperatures, what's your humidity. I like to get something different, whether it's a pain point, a growth, someone that saved their bacon and they had an accidental mentor. I think that kind of happened with my buddy Ryan, him and Chuck. Ryan's in SoCal, and Chuck's in New Jersey, and then they became buddies, and I became aware of that whole that brother love that kind of came out of the Chondro Lounge, a show that Ryan had. It was amazing. I wish it was still going on, but I get why. Great podcast, and I got to hear Ryan's story about how he was breeding. I had the first clutch, and the incubator situation wasn't right, and how he navigated that. And then Chuck was just on the phone with him, cross country, just nonstop, just always there for him. And so you end up with like an accidental mentor, is where someone just kind of shows up in your time of need and helps save it. There he is in the comments. Ryan says, there he is right there. Best accident I could have had in this game. And it's true. Yeah.
That's awesome.
People. But sometimes
that's good stuff. Nice. You got to step up when people need a hand for sure. One hand washes the other.
Yeah. And it wasn't like Chuck said of money or animals or anything like financial. It was being there and giving him an ear to bounce things off of and share his experience. Here's what you need to do. You go Home Depot. You need to go to this. You need to get these parts. It helped him get it together at the 0 hour and turn out as best it could. Was it perfect? No. Was it better than it was going to turn out? Absolutely. So, and then now they've become friends. I've become friends with them, and I'm in the Midwest and they're on both coasts, and it's just really cool when people can.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Stuff like that happen, and that happens a lot. That not that specific, but that's how things come together sometimes, when somebody needs a question answered or they're not sure about something, and then it's how it evolves. It's nice. Usually they evolve into good friendships. It's nice.
Yeah. I'm in Bill's chat group at Patreon, and that's a great place for that. I'm basically a lurker for the most part. I just kind of watch and take information because they're like, these are grown-ups, and I feel like I'm at the little folding table at Thanksgiving. I'm on the kids' table, like they're talking about, this is my 7th clutch this year, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna listen, I'm just gonna pay attention, take notes. So I lurk. Great group. Do you do any Patreons? You don't seem the kind of guy that would host one, but are you involved in any, or do you contribute to any as far as that goes? Anything like that?
No, I'm not involved in any, actually. I'm not at the moment. I'm not opposed to it. I'm not.
All right, we're gonna launch. We'll do a soft launch on Discord. Let's do it then. Snake Man 78 on Discord. We're gonna get you up and running. It's a bunch of payment. That's the techie stuff that can drive you mad,
I think that's why I've always been afraid of it. But no, I'm not. I think it's neat how some of the people have that stuff. That's a good way to meet people too through that.
Yeah. Well, any other party words? We've gone a little bit long. We try to stick about an hour. I know it's 10:20 at night for you. I don't want to keep.
Oh wow, is it that late? Yeah.
Yeah.
Time flies when you're having. It flies when you're having fun.
Yep, I did. The first time I looked at the clock, it was already 35 after starting the show. I was like, damn, I thought it'd been 15 minutes. So we got going. Hopefully we had a good crowd, man. Thanks for everyone for coming in tonight. It's been 16 to 25 people pretty much the whole time.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's great. Higher numbers than usual as far as.
Very good.
Yeah, they came to see you, man, not me. Trust me.
Hopefully I had something to do with it. I don't know. Get your network rating.
Well, it's your angle, designer chondros are, everyone likes them, whether they're a snake person or not. Everyone can kind of universally admit aesthetically they're just beautiful. So, how about a word of advice? Somebody's like, hey, I've got a few localities, I got a few BOCs. I'm gonna spend some money and get something that has a cooler, better bloodline. I'm not talking about myself at all. What's the advice that you would give someone that may be trying to transition from entry level chondros in the $500 to $2,000 range that says, oh, I'm going to get me a big boy snake for $6,500. What's a good transition? What's a good piece of advice someone trying to transition to a more serious game? Again, it's not for me. I'm asking for a friend. Right.
So of course, always for a friend. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you've got the keeping down and you're not afraid, you can keep them without killing them. All that's well. You want to maybe step it up if you can possibly get a male. That would be good because you can plug it into these different localities, so you can do some designer crosses that way. So yeah, I think that definitely would be a great thing.
So what I'm hearing, Daniel, is that I'm doing everything perfect. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I think a Stella male would be a good avenue.
Hell yeah. Well, everyone can reach out to you via Instagram. You've been more than gracious since I guess I put out Alex's show promo, and then I started looking at your page. I was like, wow. And then you feed a stray cat, they start coming back to your porch every night. So that's what happened with you and I. So I apologize, meow. So I hit you up again to come bond to the show. And I'm flattered to come on. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, I love talking this stuff and helping anyone I can, and vice versa. I love it. So
yeah. All right, dude. Well, patience, that was a big takeaway. Community was a big takeaway. That's why I wanted to know about how someone in this game builds a legacy and what they do. And yeah, it is never really alone. Even someone I admire a lot, and I love his stuff, is Lupe, Space City Chondros down in Houston. He's never had a chondro that wasn't a designer, but where do they all come from? That's it. He's not building his legacy because he lives in a vacuum. He's got, a bill animal. He's got a martial animal, whatever. He's got all these awesome designer animals, and then he makes even more awesome productions. And so I like what he's done. That's just a great example almost of how you can't do it alone. And even if he was like a cadre, he was a hermit and lived in a stone shack on the side of a mountain, didn't speak to nobody, had no social media, he didn't do it alone. Even though he lives alone, he's getting his animals from other places. And so when we can kind of be as a community, whether it's with knowledge like Chuck did with Ryan, or Carly's helped me a lot early on, and it just bounce things off of like his lineage. She's a guru on the lineage and record keeping and bloodlines, and she's taught me to be more meticulous with record keeping and stuff like that. And so that community is awesome, and you can't do something great. There's something I always said, it's cheesy. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. I think that's super true.
Yeah, it's very true.
You can't do both. I mean, in the perfect world, you could.
Sure.
And here's a free naming idea. The next chondro startup, if they're listening, Box of Chocolates Chondros. You never know what you're going to get. Mama always saying.
Never know what's going to be inside.
Right. Never know what you're going to get. Okay. Well, I'll expect royalties on that later when you guys, whoever wants that name, can have it. Daniel, thank you for your time. You've been awesome.
Yeah.
You've been gracious, and you've
Thanks
been so
for having
great
me on, man.
Dude, it was awesome to get to know you via chat, and even better on camera. Hopefully I see you this September at Bill's party, because I didn't make the last
for
one.
sure.
Stay
in touch.
Yeah. All right, dude.
Definitely.
Good luck with your year, and we'll catch you again soon, man.
All right, man. Peace out.
See ya. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out tonight. Chondro Corner. It's been hella fun. And hopefully we got someone. I don't want to just always dial down the little minutia. So hopefully we got some broad strokes from Daniel. And he's super nice. He's been a great guy, just getting to know him. So thanks for coming through tonight. And we will see you. I will be back on next week is Ro, next Monday. The one after is me. And unless anything changes, I'll have Tetra Chondros on in 2 weeks from now. So we've been in contact, and hopefully we'll keep this show rolling on. You guys have been great. And let's see, let me find, where's my sign out? We got to have there's the Chondro outro. Dance. Have a good time. We'll see you soon. Peace.
Chondro, corner where we rise and roll. Twist and turn, let the passion flow. Chondro. sticking out bright. In every twist we'll find the light. Breeding the best, gotta have patience in this game. Chondro Corner, where we make our name. Chondro Corner, Chondro Corner, Chondro Corner, Chondro Corner, Chondro Corner.